Okay. Can you hear me?
Go ahead,
Apologies,
please.
guys. I
Can
just
hear you.
started recording.
Okay, like I'm trying to open the After Effects and the Adobe Illustrator, some of the challenges, as I'm trying to open it and I'm online, so they are flagging me that I have to buy. I don't know, but I think I've downloaded like several times, and maybe I should,
You mean for
maybe
the
I can share the.
Adobe?
Yeah, I'm also
Yes,
having the
yes,
same issue for Adobe Illustrator.
the two.
It's two of
I've been
them.
having the two of them. I'm
You
posting
know,
it now.
Mine
You
is
can see,
just
you can see it on
when
the
you have
screen.
these issues, kindly reach out to Tayo.
Please reach out and let's see how we can help out
I've
on
been
that front.
I've been doing that now several times.
No, I have not received. No problem. You know what? Let's. I haven't received any communication really because I respond to every message I get, but it's okay. Um,
Okay.
yeah. All right.
Who is Mr. Tayo, please?
Yeah. So I'm the one talking
No,
right now.
I don't think I've chatted with you before.
Yes, I don't think so, and
I,
that's what I
I
mean.
only know
So,
Mr. Iwayemi.
oh, okay.
Yes,
Um,
I've
but
chatted with you.
you know what?
You
I'm
start
going to this is Engineer Ayodeji, right?
Ayodele.
Ayodele. Okay, I'm going to reach out so that we'll see how we can help resolve the challenges that you're having.
Yes, I've downloaded this thing like 3 or 4 times.
Okay,
Me,
okay. All right, that's fine.
thank you, thank
So
you.
I can see the error here. It's all right to be sorted.
Yeah.
I think I also have to reach out to you, sir. I'm having issues with the download.
Okay,
All right.
gotcha.
Give me talk back. All right, thank you.
Okay. Any other concerns or issues? So
Yeah,
I'll just go ahead.
mine also,
Ah,
but it's just the Adobe Illustrator.
are you serious? How come everyone,
Yes,
almost everyone, about 3 people here now, or even maybe more people? Because
Mm,
I mean, this class is not complete yet.
yes,
yeah.
Uh,
and also, my friend also too.
I'm guessing more people have the same issue. I mean, why are you people not reaching out? We
Mm,
said we're going to solve this issue. It's not a difficult thing, no. It's not a difficult thing to solve. It's just that if you reach out, we can know that you have this challenge and we can solve that so that everybody can follow along. You see? Maybe that's one of the reasons why some people are not practicing.
If
right.
you are to reach out, do we reach out on the group chat
Yes, you can
or
reach out on the
Yes.
group
personally?
chat or you can reach out to me personally.
Because I'm not sure I know your number, so I'll just send a text message on the group chat.
I'm sending a message on the group now.
All right.
Okay. So I'll just go ahead. So I have to just click on fill. So I have this my tool selected, the pen tool, clicked on the fill, chose the color I want. Okay, just choose red. You can choose any other color, your choice.
You are not recording. You are
Yeah,
not recording.
it's recording already.
Okay.
So I'm going to hold my Alt like you already know, so that I can cancel this stroke. I don't want outline. But if I draw my shape now, it's going to have outline. And this is where I paused the video. So I did what we call freeze frame. Just revisit previous classes, the recorded videos, you understand how I did this. So I just did a freeze frame. Okay, I have a still frame here. This is where I want to show what I want to show. Okay, before the video continues from here. So this is the same video in 3 different divisions. So that's it. So at this point, this is where I want to draw my shape. So I hold my space bar to bring the hand shape up, then click and drag. Roll my mouse up and down to zoom in. If you hold down your Alt, you can zoom in to exactly where you're putting your mouse. Okay. So those little tips, you already shared them from previous classes. So here I'm going to draw my shape and make sure that there's no particular footage selected on my timeline. If not, I'll be drawing a mask over that image or over that particular layer. So make sure nothing is selected. So that when I click and start drawing, it creates a shape layer for me. So I do this. You can see now there's a green stroke. There's a green stroke, and this is what I don't want. So I'm going to cancel this out by holding Alt and clicking on this until I see the cancel. So it's canceled. There's no longer any stroke. I can continue my drawing. And I click and drag. So you only see my view. Now, what I'm dragging out the anchor point. When you click and drag, you drag out the anchor controls or the anchor handles or the bezier handles or handles, right? Drag out the handles. So you have handles left and right, and then you have the anchor points. This is the anchor point, the center one. That's the one you can move. So when you move the anchor point to anywhere you want, okay, I'm trying to trace the bridge. Then I can hold down my control, can hold down my control to control only one handle, okay? Or I could just go to the anchor handles without holding any control or anything, just my mouse. The shape will change. Can you see that? From pen to selection tool. Then I can control the handles. Two of them will move together. The one at the left and right. But if I want to control only one of the handles, I have to hold down my control to form this upside down V shape. It means I can control only one of the handles, okay, without affecting the other one. So that's what you see. I'll just undo that because that's not my mission. Just want to show you that you might find the need for that at some point. Click and drag. Here, click and drag. Okay. Space bar, click and drag to move the screen. Click and drag here. Maybe at this point, click here. So I'm still trying to trace the road. I think I have to move this here. So this goes under the bridge, under this particular bridge cutting. So I'm going to stop here and continue backward. Okay, still tracing that bridge. Continue drawing. So that joins it. You saw that when I brought, let me undo this and do that again. I know you've seen this before. If you've been watching the previous videos, you'd have seen this. So you see my pen tool is just there. When I bring my pen tool to end my drawing, you will see like a small circle forms under the pen tool. Don't know if you can see it, very tiny. At the bottom right of that, my pen tool, this is my pen tool here. Bottom right, you see a small circle forms. It means close the drawing. That's what it means. Circle the drawing, close it. Circle out. So you click on it, it closes it. Now I can go in, maybe I drop my opacity for this T, so I could see the road. Then I can go in and fine tune my tracing to actually match the shape of the bridge. You know, come here, drag it down. Drag it down. Okay, you can see the white and black. I don't know what that thing is, but it's like this markings on the road, black and white, whatever. So I think that's the edge of the road. Let me bring this to this point. You know, I don't want to waste so much time, but you could take your time whenever you're creating yours to tweak, adjust as much as you want. Spend as much time as you want. The more time you spend on this, you know, it's like trying to play table tennis. You holding the bat, just like any other skill, anyways. The more time you spend on, you know, on trying to work with the tools that this skill requires, the better you become at using the tools. So spend some time with this if you can, just to get the road covered. You know, there might be other videos. Maybe you could take drone shots. I mean, they also sell drone shots on Shutterstock. You could download some drone shots, or you could, if you have a drone, you could, or if you have a drone, you could use your drone to record whatever video you want to work with. You could work with someone who owns a drone, videographers to come capture a certain area for you. Now, the difference between using a stroke and using a complete drone shape like this is that you have control over the shape, the size, right? You can see how here is wider and coming down here becomes thinner. You can't achieve that with just drawing a stroke. Like this video that we see here. Now, this stroke will carry the same thickness all through. We can make this back wider in stroke and make the head thinner, right? So we can only achieve that when we use a complete drawing like this. So that's what you see. I can also decide to duplicate this layer and then adjust the duplicated layer to fit this bridge here. Or I could decide to draw the same thing I did over this particular train crossing, train rail, this train rail, whatever. Duplicate that, bring this to the train rail. You know, it's not sitting properly because we already have the shape drawn. We can adjust it. Use your pen tool, you know, select the points, maybe from here, from at least this is where I see the bridge coming from. Okay. So I'm just taking some little time to adjust this. This fits in. Okay. I can't see any other bridge stand, or I don't know what they call it, or legs. I don't know. I think this kind of an older video, maybe at the early times when this bridge was being worked on. But let me just imagine that maybe this bridge crosses and goes down this way. So I can just keep drawing. I can keep drawing this. Okay, I see some bridge legs here, or bridge stand. Let me extend this to this point. Okay. Let me drag it further. Drag that further to this point. Okay. At this moment, I think I want to add some extra anchor points. So when you move your pen tool closer to any area within the line you've drawn, you see a plus sign will appear. It means you can add, extra points. Just click and a point will be added. Click point added. Adjust your handles how you want them. And remember, when you make a mistake, you can always use Control Z to undo your mistake. I want a point here and a point here. I move that this way. Move that this way. Okay. So you can see how this red line flows. Or let me even change the color to green. I select that shape layer. Click here. Change it to green. Okay. Make it very bright. High saturated colors, works well. So that's what you see. Now, next thing I want to do is to use an effect called linear wipe. And I want you to start from here. Remember I told you how to cut your footage. So this particular layer now, shape layer 1 and shape layer 2, I don't want them to start from 0 here. I want them to start from when this video pauses. That's around 4 seconds. So how do I do it? I could just select the 2, come to the edge here and drag them. You will see the double-headed arrow left and right. Drag them. But the sharpest or easiest way or most accurate is to hold down your Alt and hit your close bracket, open bracket, sorry, just beside the letter P on your keyboard. Hold your Alt, hit open brackets, and then it's to cut. If you want to cut from the back, Alt, close brackets to cut. So let me undo that. So you see how the thing cuts in. So that's how to cut footage. And I want to apply linear wipe here so that it look like this particular color is like glazing over this bridge, or showing direction. Remember, I dropped the opacity, so I can increase the opacity maybe to like 70 to make it brighter. Let me try something. Let me see if I can change the blend mode to like add. Okay, makes it look sharper and brighter. Or let me try another one. Maybe multiply. Okay, multiply gives a dark effect. Always remember that multiply gives a dark effect. Overlay. Overlay gives a different effect. Soft lights doesn't work. Lighting. Okay, just trying out the blending modes to see how that works. So let me go back to normal. I think I like how the normal looks. Select this guy. Use effects, transition, linear wipe. Linear wipe is a straight wipe. So transition completion, you test and see what direction this is flowing in. Okay. Now this is direction from the back. Now we want to turn this angle to face from the end. Okay, just give it the so you can see how. Let me see if I could take this off. Okay, now watch this green shape. You can see how it's fading. Okay. So I would add some feathering here. We have this edge being too sharp. When I add some feathering, you see to feather out. Okay, you can see that feathering is like softness. Some software you see it as softness. Some software you see it as blur. Okay, so just feathering. That's what After Effects decides to call it. Now it's not too obvious that it's sharp edged. So now you could do your flow, gives a nice appearance. You can also animate this direction. Maybe it will face this direction from the beginning, then later it will change. You want to be more accurate, you can do that. You can make because let's say for example now we have a direction facing this way. Now if you look at this flow, you see that it's not particularly straight. You won't notice that until I take away this. Okay, So it's actually facing like, I mean, the cut is not very accurate. But if I do like this, okay, because of the angle, it just keeps shifting. So, I mean, you can go crazy with this as much as you want. But for me, I'll just say, keep this direction, you know. I think this is okay, very decent angle. Then feather it out. It won't be obvious. Okay. 30, 40 is fine. Completion, take it to 100. Then from 100, start to animate to 0. So sometimes it will be from 0 to 100. Sometimes it will be from 100 to 0. Depending on how you want your animation to be. But 100 means completely wiped off. 0 means everything is still on screen. So 100 is completely wiped off. So one thing to start from 100 to 0, meaning from nothing to something on screen.
Yes, sir. I want to ask that your transition completion, what are you using? Are you pressing Alt and you are using your mouse to drag it from 0 to, or you're not using any,
Nope,
you're just using the mouse
nope.
to drag it.
Yeah, so
I only using the mouse.
your question just shows it's been obvious you've not been watching the previous videos.
Okay,
Okay,
yes, yes,
so
yes,
you
that's right.
just hover your mouse. You just hover your mouse. When you hover your mouse, you see this is the mouse now. It's looking like an arrow, right?
Yes, yes,
Arrowhead.
yes.
When I move my mouse close to any number here, it changes to like a finger. And then you see a
Yes.
double-headed arrow left and right. It means that you can click and drag left and right.
Okay,
So that's
okay,
just how
okay.
it works. You can also
Okay.
click, instead of clicking and dragging, you can just click once and you see I can type in any number I want. 888. You can see I can even put GHT, I mean, whatever, if that's a number, no wahala.
Uh,
So
So,
you're very free to do.
another question, sir.
Yes.
Where did you get this field on the bridge? The field, the red field. Where did you get it? I know you went to the field, the field, but
Yeah,
how did you get
so
it? How did you
when
transport it?
you when you select your shape,
Eh?
this is a shape layer. Okay, this is
Okay,
a
shape
layer
layer.
area.
Okay,
Yes. This is shape
okay,
layer 2, shape layer 1. This is
okay,
a footage layer, video footage layer. So this is
okay,
actually your timeline. Okay, your timeline
okay,
has a
okay.
left area, like right area. The right area is your timeline proper. The left area is where your layers are arranged. Okay,
Yes.
the layers are arranged here to show you what and what
Got
is
it.
going to appear on your timeline.
Okay,
And then there are other different controls
okay.
for every single footage you bring into your timeline, different
Yes.
controls.
Okay,
Yeah, so we've talked about that.
okay,
On your timeline, we have at the top of the timeline, we have the comps, different comps here. Okay,
okay.
so we have this is a different composition.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah, yeah.
this is
That's
another
nice.
composition. This is
Okay,
another
okay.
composition.
Wow,
Okay,
wow, wow.
these are previous stuff. You can always
Wow.
import composition into another composition. So let's
Okay.
say I'm here now working with this masking.
Yes.
I can decide to import the street lights composition into my masking from my
Wow.
project panel here. I'll check my street lights. This is my street lights composition, traffic lights,
Yes.
street lights. Okay, that's this street light. I could just drag it and then you can see the footage. You can see how I drag it. Okay, I can drop it there. There you have it. So this is on my timeline. This is it. I can scale it down. Okay, like this. I can bring it here, place it anywhere on my footage. I can even do motion tracking so that when this video is moving, the traffic lights moves with the footage. So you can see it's showing red, yellow, and green lights.
Wow.
Okay. We've done all those exercises already. Just visit previous videos. You'll be able to do that.
Okay, I'll
Right
watch the
now,
video.
it's not following the video, okay, because there's no motion tracking. So that's what we're going to treat today. That's why I'm starting with this particular shape drawing and all that, because we're going to combine everything at the end. Maybe it would be nice to even use this particular traffic street light. So let me just turn it off for now. I'll import it back later. And we're going to use this Google Locator stuff and show you. If you could do it with one, you could do it with any other thing, without text, anything. I'll just show you how to arrive there. Okay, so how do we get the field? Just create your shape layer. Then you have attributes here. So this is the field at the top of your screen. Okay, field, and so this is where you can change the color. So right now, this thing is at there's a keyframe already activated here. I think, let me check. Okay, we switch on the timer. It's already in blue up here. The effects control panel, top left. So that means if I come down to my timeline, check my effects, linear Y, you can see the transition is already on. The timer is on, and we can see a keyframe here. Okay, it's just one keyframe there. So whenever I switch on the timer, the keyframe appears. Any question? Someone say something?
Yes, so we have a question in the chat. Say, hi, I have a small issue with my pen. The layer is not showing fill, stroke, and other stuff. Can you help with that, please?
Okay. I can't really say what the issue is, but I don't know if this is answering the question. Like when you take your pen tool like this, immediately you select your pen tool, these options should appear. Immediately select your pen tool, these options should appear. If you're not seeing any color there, remember I said you can hold your Alt and click to cancel, or you just, if you want a color, you click on the fill and choose your color, it will appear. You click on the stroke, choose your color, it will appear. But if you don't want any stroke, you must hold your Alt on your keyboard. Okay? If you hover around it, you even see the instruction, stroke color, Alt click to cycle through stroke type options. You hold your Alt and you click to cycle through different options for your fill, for the stroke. So I don't know if that answers the question, or the options don't appear. You might have to share your screen maybe at the end of this class. Otai, what do you think? Should you share your screen now?
Well, yeah, he can share his screen now. There's other people who might be able to benefit from the.
Okay, fine. So this is where we stopped for now. We have a keyframe here. So before I continue, he has to actually share his screen. I'll stop sharing my screen right now. So you can share your screen. Let me see what's happening. So,
Hello?
yeah, I can hear you.
Can you see my screen now?
Yeah, okay. So you have your tool selected.
Hello? Yes,
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you now. So I was trying to like play around with this stuff, you know. So this is my pen tool, but all here I can't see all those fields, stroke, and other things. I tried the same thing even with the map that was shared on the chat.
From what I see here, I think your screen resolution is not 1920 by 1080, because I can see some of the panels of your screens kind of large. Is your laptop a small laptop?
Yeah, that's true actually.
Okay, so there is something that's following your pen tool around like a fly.
Yes.
There's a square and a dot, so that's unusual. I'm guessing that's the reason why it's like that. Roto Bezier. I can see something like rotoscoping. So it depends on the option you've selected. So what you would do, right? Because I can see that you have a layer selected. So use your selection tool, your normal selection tool. Normal selection tool. Go back to your normal selection tool.
Okay.
Okay, did it change? Did your mouse change?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, so try to zoom out. Hold your Alt on your keyboard and just zoom out. And that's your viewport. Yes, your composition panel. Just zoom out. I want to see an empty space around your work. You know how to zoom out. Are you using a mouse?
Yes. Okay. Sorry.
Yes, okay. Just zoom out. Yeah, okay. So you have an empty space around. Fine. So try to click on an empty space. Click on an empty space. Make sure nothing is selected. Okay, now when you clicked on the empty space, you can see on your timeline that whatever was selected initially is now deselected, right? So select the pen tool again. Okay,
Yeah,
so can you see the two options come up?
Yes, yes. Okay.
I can
Okay,
still
that's
see
good.
some like a star following
Yeah, like
your
it's
I've never seen that before. I don't know why there's a star. I don't know if your pen is that's quite interesting. Okay, so see what you do, yeah? Go to where your pen tool
okay.
is.
Yeah.
Just click and hold. Click and hold.
Yes.
Okay. So you have different options there. So you actually selected your correct pen tool. You can see there are other options. There's mask feather at the bottom. There is pen tool at the top. There's add vertex tool. There's delete. So the truth is, all these other tools, you can actually access them without even coming here to click them, right?
Okay.
So the star that appears at the bottom right of your pen tool is quite unusual. Never seen that before. I don't know why it's appearing. You know. So, but your problem has been solved. You can see the feel and the
Yeah.
stroke. Yes. So
Yes.
remember one thing, that when you want to draw a new shape that is that's supposed to be standalone, a standalone shape, make sure no object is selected. In order to be on the safe side, you use your normal selection tool. Okay, your normal selection tool, which is the first tool after the home button at the top of your screen, top left. So use a normal selection tool. You click on an empty space, whether on the timeline, whether on the viewport, just make sure nothing is selected. Click on an empty space before you go to your pen tool to select and start drawing. Then you can now change your color, change your stroke. So let's try something here. Go to your stroke option, top, at the top, at the middle top.
Did you say
At the top of your
stroke?
screen, at the top of your screen, the middle, where you have your fill and your stroke option as the attributes panel.
Okay, yes.
Yes. Hold your Alt on your keyboard and click on that.
Okay.
Can you see that's cancelled out?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's that. So hold Alt, click again. Can you see it changes to white? Hold
Yeah.
Alt, click again. It changes to gradient. So from black to white, you can always change black to white to any other color. Now, as it's in black to white, don't hold Alt, just click on it. Normal click. Can you see what happens? It brings out your gradient option, black to white. So you can change the black side, so on the bar at the top, that bar top where there's black and white.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. So you see, hold on. At that place where you have your mouse now, at the left of it, there is a tiny house there carrying white. Yes. On the right, there's a tiny house carrying black.
Yes.
Yeah, so that's where you click to change the colors. So you select anyone, click.
Okay.
Now, on that, that place where you are now, that's where you can choose. Just choose any color of your choice. It changes to red. Can you see that?
Yeah.
Try to move the red to the top edge, right? Drag that circle to the top edge, right? Okay. Now, select the white side, the White House.
Yeah.
White House, yes. Now, change the color to any color, maybe blue. Okay, just to see how it works. Then click on OK. Top right. Okay. Click on OK, OK, OK. So when you do that, now you can see the color of your stroke.
Yes.
At the attributes panel, the top there, you can see that it's now carrying blue and red.
Yes.
So that's how to always change your colors. You can do it for the fill, you can do it for the stroke. Okay, you can do it for the fill, you can do it for the stroke. You can use this option, maybe for example, you're showing where maybe your stroke, there's a speed lane on the road and there's a place where you should not speed over. You could use these gradients for it, and then you adjust accordingly. All those houses you see carrying those two colors, you can move them or however you want. You can create more houses there to create multiple colors. So, just like people who do carries, there's this illustration they always draw, like during the highlights, you see like a green line showing accelerates. Then there's a red line showing brake. There's a yellow line showing just, remove your leg from the throttle. This kind of stuff. You might want to do that. You can always do it using this stroke, whatever. The same thing with the filler as well. You click on the fill, you can change your color. So I guess we've answered that question, right?
Yes. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Engineer
Can you share the
Sariki.
screen?
Hello,
Yes.
Engineer Sariki. How did you? I think you were part of those that were complaining about the installation. How did you get the installation
Well,
result?
my Illustrator, the complaint comes in when I try to open it with my internet on. So anytime I want to use it, I realize that I have to off my internet. Then I
Use
open
your
the
phone.
Illustrator.
But you are using your phone now. You are using your system now.
Yes. Yes.
No flag. Okay. Anyway,
Okay. So you can stop sharing your screen, so I'll continue from where we stop. Right. So where we were, where were we? Yeah. So transition, linear transition. We have this at 100. There's a keyframe here already. I wanted to like show the keyframe. Everything should like animate out. Get that end in just a second. I like using my ease in, ease out. Let's see how it looks. Okay. Okay, so that's it. I can make this repeat itself, maybe show the road, disappear, show it again, disappear, show it again. I could use the same expression I used last week, where we loop out, okay? Watch the previous video for the last week class. You know how to use that expression loop out. But this time around, I'm going to just copy and paste keyframes. So I wanted to go like, show this, stay for some time. Okay. I copy this last keyframe, paste it here. Then in the next frame, which is one frame, I copy everything like this, paste again. So we would have it go one, disappear, go again. I can keep going like that. Can keep going like that. Okay. Something I forgot to do. I'm going to copy these 3 keyframes. So it's 3 of them. Ctrl-C, Ctrl-V. So that disappears from here. 1 frame forward. I paste it again. Okay. I already have it copied, so I can keep pasting. 1 frame forward, paste again. 1 frame forward. Select, paste again. So I'll have this going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Before the video starts, so these are the video starts. So you can do that. Okay, I'm just showing you how you can do that. You can reduce the timing however you want. So I mean, that's not my mission. So let me just delete that. I just want to show you that on the side. Stretch this keyframe further. So it takes some time to animate out very nicely and slow. The red one too. Now, interestingly, you can always copy effects like this, copy this keyframe and paste it on any other layer. As long as it's an effect, you can always copy one effect and paste on another layer rather than wasting time and trying to do the same thing again. But one challenge you might face with this linear wipe is that sometimes it can be crazy. You can copy here and paste here, and then the animation, instead of starting from the beginning, it might start from the middle. Then you have to start adjusting by yourself again. So let's see if this one does that. Copy, select, paste. Okay, let's see if it does that. It doesn't. It works well. Okay. So the only thing is just the feathering. This one doesn't carry the feathering. So we can always go in, go to the feathering and then take it up to 40. And it's just smooths out like that. Flip screen. So I'll move this one forward a little bit because I want the red to appear before the green appears. Okay. So it goes like that. And then the green appears. All right, this moved too fast. Took some time before it started to animate out. So, now you can see something here. This is like a typical example of what I was talking about. Now, transition here is at 91. Normally, it's supposed to be at 100. Even at 91, this thing has not started showing. So, what I'll do is I'll go back to where it says 100. I'll type in 91 here. Okay, so 91 so that it can start to show early. And then before it gets to the end, so it gets to this point. This is the end, all right? This is the end of this line. Gets to the end. But on my keyframe, this is where it's supposed to get to the end, the 0. So it ends at what? 27. I'll just, come to the end here and type maybe 25, right? So these kind of things might happen. You wonder why one is ending faster than the other. So now it goes slowly. Okay, now if you don't want this kind of issue to occur, right? Because I don't know how they built After Effects like that. It's quite very weird. What I just do is I delete, just create a new effect on this one. From here, go to effects. The last effects you selected would appear here for quick selection. So I don't have to start going down to transition and looking for linear wipe. So if I say I use blur, for example, and I say maybe a radial blur. If I come back, maybe on a different layer, I want to create another effect. When I click on effects, I'll see radial blur there, CC radial blur. So every last effects you use would always appear as a quick access. Or immediately you drop down your effects menu. Okay, so radial blur. Now I can go to this linear white. So I'm going to take this to 100. I'll take it to 100. Turn this round. Okay, 86, 86, 87, 91, still functioning the same way. Still functioning the same way. So this is one of the issues you might meet when using linear wipe. This particular crazy stuff, I've not been able to figure it out. Let me see if I hit reset, if it will work. Drag this. Rotate. Still the same thing. For me, I just settled in for maybe this is how After Effects was created, and this is how I use this linear wipe thing. So the only thing is just work with your numbers, right? Work with your numbers. So I have 93. I could make it 91. Okay, and see if it comes up, maybe 90. Okay, from 90, it starts to show a little. You can see the tiny red just pops out. So maybe I'll work with 91 here. 91. Create my keyframe by switching on the stopwatch. Gets to this point, take it down, gets to the end at 41. Okay, so but let me just use 40. So it gets to the end at 41. I'll use 40. Okay, then feathering 40. This isn't either as is not working smoothly like I want. I'll select it, go to my graph editor, select the two ends, and just tweak it out a little bit like that. Okay. See how it works. Okay. I mean, working with graph editor just makes your animation better. Always makes your animation better. I mean, you can control the speed of your line, you know, and all that. So this is what we have. This one goes, then this one goes. Okay. I could do something like this. Let this one delay a little bit. And then let's see, takes some time. Let me bring this in more. So let's see this. Goes like that. This one goes. Okay. I need to take this. Okay, so that's it. Okay, so the next thing we want to do is motion tracking. Okay. So kindly pay attention for this motion tracking. Can be very tricky. Can be very tricky. But it's very simple. It's very simple. We're going to work with the Google Locator, this particular one. So just drag it into your scene. It's right there. I'll reduce the size, scale it down to maybe, or let's do like this, right? Let's go to the previous work we did. I think we made use of the Google Locator here. So this is it. This. Okay, so you can always copy a layer where you have animation already. So I have this very nice scale animation that makes this thing pop like this. So from the previous class, just pops out like that. I'm going to copy this layer, Control C, just select the layer and just hit Control C, copy, come into the comp you want to use it in, Control V. Okay, so Control V, it can land anywhere on the timeline. When it lands anywhere on the timeline, how do you bring it close to your time indicator pin? So for example, you could do Control P now, this thing could just go and land at the end, at the back here. Okay, so how do you bring it to meet with your time indicator where you really want it to be? Remember I said you can hold your Alt and hit your open bracket. Alt and open bracket, that will cut your layer. Okay, but this one, just hit your open bracket just beside your letter P on your keyboard. Hit your open bracket to bring it close. Okay, if my because this video has ended, that's why you see an empty space. Okay, the video ended. So if I'm here, for example, I can bring this by hitting the same open bracket to bring it in front of the time indicator. But if you hit close bracket to take it behind, okay, so you can see how it's going left and right. The time indicator pin, the blue pin there, when I hit the other side, it goes to the other side. When I hit this side, it comes to the front. Okay, so that's what you see there. Wherever this is, if it's here, you can bring it here. I'll take it to the other side. If it's here, you can bring it to the other side, or you can bring it to the front. However you want, just with those open brackets and close brackets. So I want this thing to come up right here. So it pops up. Where are you? See where it's hiding. Okay, so I want it to pop up around here. So that's where it pops. Maybe while you're working, you might say, oh, this thing looks really large, or can I reduce the size without affecting the animation of the scale? Yes. If you decide to scale down one by one. Now, if you look at my scale, if you look at it in the graph editor, you see how it looks. Okay. High, coming down from the middle line, the height of this is higher than this. The height of this is higher than this. The height of this is higher than this. So it's more like it just tapers down, right? It's a flow. This is like a principle of animation. Higher, lower, 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 lower. So from big, small, small, small like that. Is it? Biggest, bigger, bigger. How do you even say that thing? Then small, right? It just keeps going down from big to small. So if from here, this thing scales to 1, can reduce the size here. Okay. So I do that. Okay, I have everything selected. No, that's an error. I had all the keyframes selected. Okay, can you see what's happening to the curve? When I go to the next keyframe, you see how it's being affected. So you can always adjust however you want. Okay. So nice flow, nice appeal. And this goes like that. Okay. So this is the flow. Large and keeps getting smaller. So you see that bouncy effect. Okay. It gives you that bounce effect. Bounce effect. Scale up, then goes down. We make it the scale up to be more obvious. Okay. Before it goes down to 0. Okay. To copy this last keyframe, paste it here so everything is in balance. So I'm just trying to adjust the curves. Okay, you can play with your curve to see how it works out. Your curve, all these yellow boxes are your keyframes, okay? Then your keyframes, you can see this one is selected. If I select this one, I go to my curve, you can see that's the one that is in yellow. Others are empty yellow boxes. This one is selected. Select this, you can select any of them. They all have handles. Okay, they all have left and right handles. You can move them around. I would advise don't move this until you master how to use curves. And different ways you could use this curve to give you some funny different kind of movements. Okay, but just stick to the basics for now. Okay. Now, how do you adjust the size of this, your object, without working one by one, with every single keyframe? We're going to use a null object. I told you null object is very handy, comes in handy when you get into this kind of situation. So it's very simple, just create a new null object. Okay. This null object now, bring it maybe around here. Right. Then we'll attach this to a null object. You remember how we attach? You drag this pick whip. It's like a rubber that you can drag. Okay. And it's not attached to anything. It runs back to where it started from. You drag it to connect with the null object. Okay, when it's connected with the null object now, S, you scale the null object down. And then it will scale down. Now, this would not affect the animation itself for this particular object. It will only scale it down with a balance. Okay, I'll scale this maybe down to 50, make it small. Okay, depending on what size you like, it's just be like that. So that's how it works. Now, when you're done, you can always, now watch that this size here is 68.5. That's the original size. Okay, connected to the null object, it did not change. When I remove this from the null object, say none, you can see the size changes to 34.3. Because now it has taken its original size from, by disconnecting it from the null object. Let me show you that again. So I just undo what I did. It's still connected to the null object. You can see the size of this particular keyframe here. The size of the scale is at 85.5. Well, because I used the null object to scale it down, everything was scaling equally and in balance. so that when I disconnect it and say none, don't connect to any null object, that 68.5 will come back to its original size, which is 34.3. That's the original size of this shape because it has been disconnected from the null object. Do you understand now? So that's how it works. That's how to use the null object. Now, if you work on multiple layers, about 10, 20 layers, you cannot just go into them and start working on each of the keyframes. That's a time killer. So what you do is you create one null object, position the null object in the correct position where you want it to be, right? Then you scale everything down. Now, maybe we have this particular objects that you created scattered all over the place. When you scale it down, what will happen is everything will scale down, taking the null object as its center of reference. So when you disconnect, what will happen is the positions would have changed, definitely. So you might have to start dragging in, all your objects back to its position. That will just be the only challenge. You drag everything back to the previous position, but the scale will remain the same. The scale will remain the same. But if you want to drag everything, want to scale everything down back equally, then you have to take the pain of creating maybe multiple null objects, connecting each of those your objects that you created to each null objects, okay, and then you scale everything down. As if you have multiple animations on them already, and it's going to be, so that saves you even more time rather than, going into each keyframe and editing them. So that's where the null object comes in handy as well. I'm still going to use the null object for our motion tracking. So we'll still leave it. Let me scale it back to 100. Okay. So it's not connected to anything. I can scale it up. It won't affect anything until I connect it to something else. Okay. That's how to reduce the size. Now for motion tracking, I'm going to place this, maybe to make it very obvious. I'm going to move this because we didn't animate position, so I'm not afraid to move this position. Let's use this. I think this is a signboard, electronic signboard here. I'm going to keep this in track. So let's drop it on it. We want it to remain on top while it moves. So I'll bring this, take this to the beginning, stretch this, then maybe get this to this point. So it goes like this. Right now, it's not following that signboard. It's not following it. So we want it to follow that signboard. Right. So the first thing we do is take this null object. Okay. We select the footage we want to track, which is this Lagos drone footage, blah, blah, blah. Any video at all. Go to animation. You see track motion. Under animation, you see track motion. Select that. Immediately you do that, a panel open here where you see tracker, track camera, warp stabilizer, track motion, stabilize motion, and all that. For the track type, leave it in transform, current track, tracker 1. We're tracking just position. Now you can track rotation, you can track scale. You track scale for maybe videos that zoom in, zoom out, and all that. So while the stuff is becoming bigger, your text can become bigger. So it depends on, this video doesn't really need much tracking. So if you're going to track like this one just position, right? So let's say we have a helicopter or a moving drone that's just moving down into maybe to the UBA building, and you want to track it. You want to track maybe a text that appears on the UBA building, right? Now, this is used for a more dynamic kind of video, like for adverts where you see drones flying around, very dynamic drone records, drone captures. You could track rotation, the scale, and position. So it's all about the positioning, rotation, and the scale. Scale is like the zooming, okay, the moving in of the camera. So that object would scale according to the zoom in and the rotation. Rotation is if there's a kind of a 3D movement. So the rotation is a different ball game. It works with the 3D kind of tracking. I mean, that's not where we're going with this class. That's a bit more complex way to track. So we mostly will track with position or scale. For now, position. Mainly you switch that on, mainly you select that option. Would see this thing will appear on screen, like track point. So this track point has two rectangle or two squares, okay, just to give you good targeting, okay, just to give you good targeting. You can move this, let's say to this particular, anywhere, you have high contrast, move it to the edge there. When you start moving this, it gives you this magnifying effect, okay? So this box captures, the two boxes just makes your targeting to be more precise, just not to start giving long explanation. So now when we hit on track, when we hit on play button here, okay, analyze forward, what will happen is we'll start to see the tracker will start to track position, okay? You will see every single frame will carry one keyframe. So click on that. Now you can see the box following it. That box keeps following that video. Okay. Anyway, you want it to stop. I want it to stop here, so I hit stop. In fact, the software is even smart to know that this is where the video ended because I had to cut the video. Okay, so you could see all the tracking points would appear. Can you see all the points? All the points of motion would appear like that. And then what you do is, this is node 2. We want to set a target. Okay. After we track, we can say edit targets. When you click on edit targets, you're applying the track motion to a particular object. So null object 2, null object 2. We find it here, null object 2. I say okay. All right. So during when we were creating our tracking, it will open a different layer for you from the composition. So there's a different layer for tracking. We'll go back to our composition. We'll see the null object here. So get to tracker. I think something we didn't get right here. targets null 2. Okay. Okay, apply. Didn't hit apply. Sorry. Apply dimensions X and Y. Okay. Okay, so we have the null object now. All right, so we didn't hit apply initially. So when we come here and we say edit targets, okay, we select null object 2, we say okay, then we click on apply, then it will apply the effect to it. So now it's the null object, the positioning for the null object. So every single tracking dot here has been transferred to this null object. So now we can even delete these keyframes if we want, or we just leave it for future references. So we have the null object. Select the null object. You see the null object following. It might not really show. So what we want to do is maybe at this point, let's attach this guy to the null object. Now this Google locator or whatever they call it, right? See our null objects here. Our null object can actually be here, and then we attach this to it. Then we would have to actually move the position of this thing to this point. Wherever you want, you can always attach. It just makes it easier to use a null object. Select this, drag your parenting pick whip. It's called pick whip, like a whip where you whip a child. Pick whip. And let's emphasize that. But that name might sound weird. Parenting pick whip. So we've parented that, the location icon, to null object 5 that already has the tracking. So when you play, you see it being tracked, right? When you play, you just see it being tracked. So that's it. Now, funny enough, I can also track this car moving. Any of the cars moving on the road, like this car moving now, I can track this particular car. Maybe something written on it. Maybe you're trying to do a VFX movie. You know, let me just go down a little bit, right? Or maybe you want to just show a truck. You could just put a text and say truck, and then the text comes up and then shows truck moving, right? I mean, I could quickly do that, you know, just to show what you can do with this motion tracking. It's very powerful, you know. So, I mean, that's it. I don't want to go further, so I don't, you know, compound this class and make it more difficult. But if you can practice these things, you see, you can apply it in any form, in any way you want, right? It's very, very easy to use, you know.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. So I want to ask a question that pertaining to this the background picture, the Lagos drone
Yes,
footage, the bridge. I
yes.
hope it's a vector image, right?
No, this is actually a footage, a video. You can't, I mean, you can't track a vector image. You can only track videos. So I'm
Okay.
showing you this in case you might
Yes, sir.
have a drone footage, you know, of the area you want to work on. So
Okay. For example, now if I have a video of a site, maybe construction site, and I want to work on
exactly,
it, I can use this model to do it.
exactly.
Okay.
So let me randomly look for a funny video, for example,
Okay.
maybe a video of
Get your domain today at GoDaddy. Ready to take your idea online?
Let me try and look for a footage for construction sites footage. Construction sites footage. Okay, let me just use the Lekki.
Is it on Free Pick or the other one you gave us, the other website?
Now this is actually a video just on YouTube basically.
On YouTube. Okay.
Yes. So,
but this one you are using, you
I
didn't
mean,
get it, sir. I'm sorry, the one you are using, you did not get it from the YouTube. Oh.
It's from YouTube.
Okay, downloaded it on YouTube. Okay.
Yeah, it's from YouTube. Now, I'm using this as a reference. I know that you might have a particular project you're working on, maybe a site like you mentioned. And on that site,
Okay.
let's say it's still a plain ground. Okay, that site is still a plain ground, but there is already an architectural art that has been done to say, okay, this is where the building will stand. There's a plan for that particular empty field. Maybe a drone just did a drone recording. So you could easily use After Effects to draw a square where a building will stand. And then when you draw that square, I already shown you how to draw squares, how to draw shapes. Just draw it there, use your color, maybe green, and then blink it. That's opacity, make it go off and on, right? And then you use your line. I'm going to show you something maybe in the next few minutes. I'm going to be very fast with that. Basically, it's what we've done before, but I'll show you how to quickly use that to also add motion tracking to it, maybe to track a vehicle. You could use that to track that particular spot where that building will appear. If you have a design of that building, you can actually drop it on top of that particular site in the video. Okay, just import the image, drop it there, then use motion tracking position while the drone is moving. That particular building design, maybe you got a PNG image of it or something, or maybe a random image that represents a skyscraper building. You could drop it there and just do a motion. Maybe I would by Thursday, right, I'm going to work on something similar to that in front of everybody, and maybe that will be a final project, something that looks like a construction site, bringing in, so everything we've done so far, I will incorporate everything as much as possible into that video I'm going to create. So it's going to be like a 10 seconds video, and then maybe that will be the final project that everybody can work on. So it's basically everything we've done so far. Motion tracking, using shapes, using object. I'll combine everything we've done and I'll make that video in front of everybody so everybody can watch. It's the final class. Everybody needs to be there. I don't know if you can advise other colleagues on the group. Everybody needs to put our word there. This one, everything we've done so far, I'm compressing into one. We'll answer questions. I wouldn't be like teaching like I'm doing right now, right? I'll just be talking basically, but I wouldn't emphasize, because it's everything I'm going to be using will be something we've already done in previous classes, So I'm just combining that to create a project in front of your eyes to see how these things work when you're bringing these things together, using your scale, using your opacity, using the trim path option, using the, everything, motion tracking, combining all those arsenals together and creating one particular video. Right? So you see how it works.
So at the end of the program, are you going to give us project to work on?
Yes.
Okay.
We've been working on some assignments. I've not seen anything anybody has created. I shared an assignment last week. I don't know if you saw the assignment. I rendered a short video. So this just gets you ready, prepared. If you have questions, you could ask. So that for this final class, I'm bringing everything we've learned, everything. I'm bringing everything together, and we can use that to work on a project.
Okay.
So that's it. This is motion tracking for you. Track anything. Any other question? But I want to quickly illustrate something here. I said I was looking for a video footage. Say this video, for example, you have this particular Lekki site. So we have this sand area. Maybe this area we want to do some buildings here. We just get a vector image of that building or bitmap image, PNG format, drop it here, you know, do your motion tracking and write Olawale skyscrapers, to just type out here in a box and then use motion tracking to track it. And you just see it following the camera and following the movement, like as if though the text is actually inside of the video. That's the whole idea for motion tracking. So you have this like this. And then you just see the text will just follow. Okay. Now, I'm sure you've seen some nice videos, you know, just like what I showed you today on this water now. We could just maybe cover it with some red shape and make the shape to animate out and then put this line. I'm going to do something now, you know, after now, that will quickly show you how to use motion tracking for like maybe strokes and text. Okay, you could just do that to show this boat or talk about a particular building, something. All right. So if I'll quickly do that now. So very simple. I'll just use my pen tool. Let's see. I don't know if I can find a truck here. Okay, I might not be able to find a truck, but let me use this guy. Let's say this guy, this tiny guy here. Okay. There's a very tiny guy here, this one. I'm going to use that car. So I'm just going to click one. I'm just going to... Okay, there's no stroke, that's why. All right, so hold my shift, create a straight line, and I only have a fill. I want to cancel this fill, Alt, click, cancel. Select stroke, maybe use a white. White works well for something like that. Drop the size, make it very tiny, maybe 2, okay, or maybe 3. Make the stroke size 3, okay. Then go to my stroke. We talked about this in the last class where you can always change this box cut to round cap and rounded corners to give it that rounded edge. Okay, you might not really see it. It just makes it very nice and smooth. You can visit previous class to see that. So I've quickly created a shape that's pointing to what? It's pointing to that car. Now, how do we work on this? Come to this particular video here. I want to track this video first. Okay, so I'll select all these keyframes here and delete. Okay. I'm going to start the motion tracking again. So there's motion tracking already added to it. There's motion tracker already there. Okay. I've already applied the previous motion tracker to this and delete the keyframes and start another motion track. Okay, track motion. We have it here. Come down, bring this to the car. Okay, this is the car. You need to look for a high contrast area around this car, maybe this area, white and black, right? Make this smaller so it traps the car in the middle. Okay. Yeah, so that's it. We have it trapped. Next thing we want to click on is analyze forward. And you see how the tracker will keep tracking the car until the end of where the video stops, okay? If it doesn't stop, it just keeps tracking it. Oh, interesting. So I can stop it myself by hitting stop. And it stops, okay?
Oh, interesting.
You might have a challenge if, so you see that it doesn't stop where this video is caught, right? Because it's seeing this video as a complete video, right? It's seen as a complete video. So if I want this tracking to continue, I can just maybe okay, for now, just I'm going to try something. For now, let's just hold on that because it might confuse you. This null object, I'm going to create a new null object. So layer new null object. So this null object would be for the new tracking we're trying to do. Okay, so where's the null object? Where are you? This null object 3. So in order to apply this new track we've done to this new null object, we click on edit target, select the layer here, null objects, what? 3, right? And say okay, and then hit apply. Say dimension XY, that's XY motion. Say okay. So we didn't track the scale, okay? Let's say this bus keeps moving and gets smaller, something, you know, we might need to track the scale. You can track scale and see how it works. So the same process, just depends on what you want to track. You know, the scale works better from it. Maybe the drone footage is like tracking a distant building and then coming close to that distant building, like a very fast zoom. Then that scale can work. But in footages like this, you don't really need the scale. So we've transferred this, okay. I hit my U on my keyboard to review the keyframes. So you can see all the keyframes that we tracked from here. Okay, you can see them here, all the keyframes. So there's a lot. It tracks per frame, one frame, every single movement. So you can see the null object, this box here, it's following that white vehicle now. Okay, so what I want to do is this particular shape, where is the anchor point? It's actually here, bringing it down to this spot, because that's where we want it to follow. Okay, selection to bring this above the car. Okay, then attach this pick whip, drag it to on object 2. So while it's moving, it follows it. Okay, so with that, we have what we want. It can be very messy, but you can arrange your layers however you want. This is the video. Let's bring this guy maybe down here. So with this now, something else we've done is using our trim path. So I could come here and say, add trim path, right? The trim path, I'll add animation for trim path. Okay, there's the, let's see how this thing is working. I think 0, let's see, minus, okay, so that's it. Take it to 0. So from here, switch on my keyframe. At the end here, make it 100. Okay, so ease in, ease out. I always like to use that. Turn this off. Let's see. So what you see is this. Can you see the white stuff following the car? Okay, so just pops out like it keeps following the car. Now, with that, I could do a lot of things. Okay. If I want to extend this my stroke, I can extend it. I can just go to shape, right? Selection to blah blah blah. Oh, sorry, path. Okay, sorry, I have this turned off. That's why it's looking confusing. Okay. Undo, drag this, shift, select, and drag this. Okay. So it can become longer like that. Okay. I can just type a text here. Maybe I just take a text, what I want to type. Anything, I can type any random thing. You can type anything you want. right? So click here and just say tracking this white car. We'll call it white car. Or you can call it whatever you want to type, you can type maybe Auto the last building, whatever. Make it white or any color of your choice. Choose your font. There's a list of fonts you can choose. If you have maybe the brand, you have a particular brand font style, you can install your font and look for it here. I know some fonts that I really like, so maybe Zona Pro Bold. Okay, reduce the size. And take this and drop it here. You know, when I drop it here, I can animate it out as a typewriter. Remember the animation presets, and this is my text layer. You know, I told you text layer and null objects layer always appear, right? So just not for it not to be confusing, I'll change this color to maybe orange. All right, select color and change color here. So this is an orange as a label. So this needs to animate out and then follow the car. So at this point, I'll take the peak whip and attach it to, I can decide to attach it to this shape if I want, okay? Because it will still follow. Or I attach it to the null object 3. That's the mother control, okay? This one. That's one I selected now. Anyone I want, I'll attach it to that. But let me just attach it to null object 3 just to be on the safe side. Maybe in case we want to move that the white stroke to a different position. It won't affect. So pick whip, drag to null object 3, and then you see that it will follow. Okay. So right, I can keep layering this upon layer, like adding more effects, the typewriter effects, you know, effects and presets panel here, animation presets, go to your text, animation, animate in, okay, and then choose the typewriter effect, which is this, drag it down. And by the way, you can even type the name here, TYP, okay, to bring out the typewriter effects very fast. So this is what you get. Ease in, ease out. I'll bring it closer so it animates out. Okay, you see that?
So in
Very
case
nice.
we are
Whatever.
done with this, how can we now
Yes.
download it? How can we download it and give it to maybe our client or
I
our
mean,
boss?
when you're done with animating, you want to export it out as a video?
Yes.
Yes, I'll show you how to do that. It's just to render. This is a render
Okay.
queue. I'll show you how to render in the last class. How to export videos. So
Yes.
that's the last thing that I'll be remaining. So I'm going to be creating everything from scratch on Thursday.
Okay, sir.
I'll figure something out based on what I think you're the one that asked that question about if you have like what do you call it?
Construction site.
Yeah, construction site. So I'll look for a video, very short video, and
Okay,
then
sir.
I'll do something related to that, then use some of this stuff that we've done. So I
Okay,
mean,
sir.
it's very interesting to actually when you start getting a hang of it, you would really love it. So let's
Okay,
say
sir.
this Alabama, you can even design
But
your
sir,
label like
this background image, you downloaded it from as a vector, right? Or as a video?
you need to visit the previous class.
Okay,
Everything has been
okay,
explained in previous class. So this particular picture here, right,
okay. Okay, sir.
was a DWG file. I exported that as a PNG. So I shared it
Yeah.
already. Shared it.
Okay.
It should be in the group. If you check the group, you'll see it. If you watch the
I've
video,
wiped
you'll
off
see how it was converted.
my WhatsApp as well, Prof. I will get it from others.
Oh dear. Okay. Ah,
It's also in your
cases.
email, though. It's also in your email. So just check the email you registered with.
Okay, my email. Okay, I'll get it there. I'll get it there.
Okay. So, I mean, this thing works the same way. I can copy this particular Alaba road. You know, I could do this design. This was actually an Illustrator design, Alaba road, as an example, right? I could just copy that, go to where I was working here, and we could paste this here, Control V. Remember, it will appear far away. Bring it close. We can't find it. It's hiding up here. Bring it down. Okay. See all the keyframes. That's what we have. Okay. So it pops out like this. The scale is quite large. You reduce it down. Okay. So bring this on the car. Remember I said you can track this with anything. You can track this road. Maybe the drone is moving sideways and showing street by street. You could put different street names, okay? Just like this. Design of the street names like this in Illustrator, just a normal rectangle and type, create the shape. In the previous class, the video, you see how it was done. Very simple. So right on the car there, the same way, just use your pick whip, connect it to null object 3, and then you would have it following the null object. You will have it following the car. That's very simple. Okay. Just keeps following the car. Then fades out. So it works for anything. Image, shape, you know. And my one is just this is white car. Then the shape. Move it up. Okay, to this position. Now remember, because the shape, okay, which is the stroke and the text are connected to the null object. When I move them, it doesn't affect, okay, because null object is the mother control. So everything still works fine. You see that? You can add layers upon layers. It's the same thing. Okay, so that's how to do motion tracking. Try to practice. Any other questions? Questions. Is anything confusing about the motion tracking, or is it clear?
It's clear. It's clear. It's clear.
Okay.
It's clear. It's clear.
So at this point, we'll call it a day. If you can practice what you've seen, please practice tomorrow. Find time to practice this. Just find time to practice. Okay. Thank you.
Okay, Christian, if you could stay on for a little longer, basically because the installer file, okay, I'll stop recording now.